think this is exciting that we can celebrate our 10th anniversary, but probably a good time to reflect and probably a good time to start with the founders. David, why don't you tell us did it all start?
Well, I mean, first, let me start by saying it seems like just yesterday and so long ago, like at the same time. It's weird how time does that to you, right? 10 years thinking about that is wow. Yeah, it all started, I think, when myself and the co-founder of Cential, Brian, started having some conversations about, hey, what if we took our show on the road? You know what I mean? Like, I think we're pretty good at this thing. I think there might be some value out there that we could add to some other organizations. What do you think about that? I remember distinctly having those conversations with Brian. We had worked on the same client together. We were at a organization in a healthcare IT audit organization, and we were on the same client, and we worked together. Brian actually hired me into that position, and so he and I worked together for a few years. We ended up getting hired into the client to start their GRC program and to implement Archer. And so that's where we really started getting involved with GRC and really immersed ourselves into that world, came up with the plan, the training, and all of that to start that program. We did so building on the experience that we had, the years of experience that we had in IT audit up until that point. And when we went to conferences and when we started talking to peers and when we started to talk to consultants who came to speak with us, we kept getting feedback that whatever it was we were doing it well. And I think that stuck with us and kind of gave us some confidence because obviously it's a risky proposition to start a company. So I remember we were actually at a conference sitting together talking with each other when we decided, you know what, like let's do this, right? Like we felt like we built a good enough foundation and we felt confident enough in ourselves that we would be able to add that value at other organizations. And we're like, let's start this thing. And I remember it was June of 2015 that we signed the paperwork to file the LLC. We filed the LLC together and got it started. And yeah, 10
Hmm.
years ago.
Why the name Cential or GRCential at that stage?
We kept thinking, obviously GRC was a part of the name, many of the names that we were looking at, because it's a descriptor of the services that we provide, the core of what we do. We were trying to mash different words together. We ended up with the word essential in GRC, and it went together, right? We put the acronym together and it became GRCential. That's actually how we ended up filing the first LLC was as GRCential, and our first marketing material and whatever was under the GRCential name. Only later did we decide that we wanted to drop the GR and make it Cential, just, thinking that it would appeal to a little bit broader of an audience that way. So yeah, and here we are, Cential.
What were your goals, David, when you and Brian started this? What were you hoping to accomplish?
I think I think the goals remain the same in the organization today. Our goals were to grow this business. Like we thought we could provide some value to other organizations. So it seemed to us that the knowledge that we brought and the way that we brought it, right, the culture that we could build in an organization to be different from the typical culture that you saw in our competitors at the time, we thought that there was a huge opportunity and that clients would react to that. Clients would enjoy that. We had always had good relationships in the consulting that we had done before with our clients. And we thought that that was something that we could build on to be a little bit different, to be little bit more personable with clients rather than just, a cold sales focused, business focused organization. We thought we could bring a little bit more of that white glove custom service to organizations and do so in a way that built a culture so that when we grew the organization and had a team that it would be enjoyable internally as well, not just to the client. Once we got a foundation built, it was to grow the organization. And 10 years has gone by. And
So it was you and Brian at first, two of you. Now we're at 18. Huge amount of growth in that period. And I'm curious when you and Brian first started it, I know when I came on board, you had established some values. How did those values come about, and have they changed? Have they been refined?
I think we've talked through them many times, right? And we've all agreed that they are still applicable to the business that we have.
Hmm.
We knew that we valued accountability, transparency, integrity, innovation, and right side up thinking, and team, right? We came up with those values and decided like those are things that we think are important to us for different reasons. If you look in our documentation, right, our mission and objectives and values, those each have like some thought behind them about why we instituted them as values. And if you think about the question that you asked me just before, right? Like, why did you start Cential? So many of those can tie back to what I said, like the right side up thinking one, I think is a good one to explain. That one is putting the client's frame of mind first, right? So like in every interaction, put yourself in their chair. What is it that they're trying to achieve? How would they see the situation? And coming at it from that angle to truly provide service that will meet them where they want to be met. And so that was no doubt, like we wanted to include that as one of our values. Other things, team, accountability, transparency, those all speak to that culture piece that I thought that we could build internally to have a culture that was different from what we saw out in the industry.